So, are we going to talk about it?
What?
The elephant in the room.
What elephant?
Mom's new job.
It's been 14 years since The Incredibles came out, and the wild world of superhero films has changed a lot since then. Does Incredibles 2 soar as high as a skyscraper, or does it crash as hard as a different skyscraper that's falling over because the Man of Steel threw General Zod through it, and now it's just crashing to the ground? I'll let you know, but first, please subscribe to Universe for more reviews and breakdowns of all your favorite movies, TV shows, anime, and more. 14 years is a long time to wait for a sequel, but Incredibles 2 has one huge advantage. Being animated, it's not tied down by the advancing age of the franchise's actors, like some other recent movies. That lets Incredibles 2 pick up right where the original left off. After a brief cold open, it'll feel like you never left. You'll still notice a difference though, because the past decade and a half has seen animation technology improve faster than a speeding hover train, especially at Pixar, a studio that's almost always on the cutting edge of new advancements and techniques. Incredibles 2 may pick the story and characters right up, but visually and aesthetically, it's far superior to the original. The story does feel familiar. In the world of Incredibles, donning a disguise and fighting crime, aka being a superhero, has been illegal for years. Given that this story picks up right where the original ended, that obviously hasn't changed. And things only get worse for superheroes when Bob, Helen, Violet, and Dash team up in the opening scenes to stop the Underminer, the mole-like villain who emerged at the very end of the first movie. They wreck half the city in the process, which leaves them in worse standing than before. And with several scenes of exposition rehashing the same conflict after that, Incredibles 2 actually starts out a little bit slowly. The twist this time is that it's Elastigirl coming out of retirement, and she's not doing it in secret like Mr. Incredible was in the first movie. Businessman Winston Dever and his sister Evelyn recruit her to be the face of a PR campaign attempting to get superheroes legalized. The movie's pace picks back up as soon as she hops on her extremely cool Elastabike, and things get really good when she faces off with a new supervillain, the Screenslaver. From that point forward, Incredibles 2 is just excellent. It is everything that you want it to be, but it's arguably the B-plot that's actually more entertaining as Mr. Incredible stays home and struggles to just be a good dad while Helen is off changing the world. As we saw in the original movie, Bob Parr would rather be in the spotlight fighting crime. Instead, he has to deal with Dash's math homework, Violet's boy troubles, and of course Jack-Jack's increasingly unmanageable powers. Probably the best scene in the movie is a fight between Jack-Jack and a raccoon in the backyard, in which the baby starts to use his new powers like laser vision, multiplying, lighting himself on fire, and about 15 more that I won't spoil because they are awesome. Between this movie and Coco last year, it's more clear than ever that Pixar's artists are just the best when it comes to creating an aesthetic and sticking to it throughout the whole movie. Incredibles 2 uses its mid-century setting to much greater effect than the original did. Every scene is packed with vibrant colors, while the family's new house is a high-tech retro modern marvel. The animation during action scenes like Elastigirl's high-speed chase or later fights that feature multiple new superpowered characters is unbelievably creative and fluid, while the Screenslaver's hypnotic screens kind of hark back to like cheesy comic book hypnotism from decades past. If you ever sent away for like hypno glasses from an ad in the back of a comic book, you know what I'm talking about. There's also a larger supporting cast this time around, including but no longer limited to Samuel L. Jackson's character Frozone. Elastigirl's superhero activism prompts an entire new generation of powered characters to emerge with their own superhero identities. Characters like Void, who creates portals, and Reflux, who barfs acidic goo from his oversized gullet, get less screen time than they deserve because they're cool, but they make an impression nonetheless. The plot ultimately revolves around the identity of the Screenslaver, which the movie unfortunately telegraphs a little bit too early, but even so, Incredibles 2 is yet more proof that Pixar is currently at the top of its game. So here's what's good. Incredibles 2 picks the story back up effortlessly, and it has a lot of fun with the setting and characters, old and new. The art direction and the aesthetic are incredibly beautiful, the action is fluid and fun, and the movie has a great sense of humor. And then there's a slightly less good, which I'll say because there's nothing actually bad about this movie. It's just that it starts out a little bit slowly as it's kind of just rehashing the same conflict from the original, and I think that it telegraphs the supervillain's identity a little bit too early. As we're all aware, we're living in a post-Avengers world, which I think actually put Incredibles 2 at a slight disadvantage. Being a better-than-average superhero movie isn't as novel as it once was. Thankfully, Incredibles 2 is much more than simply better than average. It is beautiful, creative, smart, funny, and more fun than a barrel full of Jack Jacks. It was well worth the wait. Thanks for watching. Let us know who your favorite member of the Incredibles family is, what superpower you would want to have. Hit us up in the comments below. Hit me up on Twitter. I am @RogueCheddar, and enjoy the movie.